Hi guys, it's Mr. B here. Welcome to the video. Today what we're going to be doing is we're looking at some questions that we might get in reading comprehension. So when we're reading the text and we're answering questions after them, and we're going to be looking at a certain type of question, what we call a retrieval question. And we're going to have a look at a few skills that can help us answer these quickly and effectively. Okay. So first one. This is what a retrieval question is asking us to do. It is asking us to get some information from what we are reading. So what that means is our answers are going to be in the text somewhere. So if we read it, we pay enough attention, we can find where the answers are. We don't have to tell them what we think, or we don't have to say what we think the author was trying to do. We just have to look for some information in the text. Because of course, retrieval, if you retrieve something, you are going to get something. So retrieving, we are getting the answers from the text. Okay, so that's what our retrieval questions are. Again, a big word like we sometimes have in English for something that just means finding the answers in the text. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some skills that are going to help us. Obviously, when you get a reading comprehension, when you get something that you need to read, a text to read, and you got some questions on, the first step is to read it. Read through, make sure you're understanding what is happening in that piece of writing. But then, once we are answering questions, what we need to learn to do is to skim and look for key words. Now, what skim means is, rather than reading every single word again when we answer the question, right, this is my question, I'm going to read every word to find the answer. It means that we're just going quickly through and looking for certain things to jump out at us. Okay, so key words. So let's use that word I've just said, jumped. If I had a question on a piece of text that said, who was it that jumped high? I would think, right, keywords. I'm looking for someone who jumped. So I'm going to go through my text now and I'm going to go quickly and be looking for that word jumped, because my answer must be around there somewhere. So we can use words from those questions in order to make it quicker for us to find where our answer is. Now, when we found that, what we need to do is read around that. And what I mean is, if we look for that word jump, we can then write, let's read that sentence that's in and find out our answer. Okay, make sure we read the full sentence, because sometimes if we don't, it might have a slightly different meaning. So that'll help us to get quicker at answering our questions. You can have a try of this, okay? If you are wanting to get better at this, is get someone to have the same piece of writing as you have, or have a look at it and say, find this word, or find what this person says, and quickly practice. And the better you get at it, the easier you will find this task, and the quicker you'll be able to find those answers. Now this one says use the words from the text. And what I'm saying is a retrieval question is asking us to get information, get our answers from the text. What that means is when we find our answer, let's use the exact words that are in the text there. Okay, now that seems simple, but a lot of people do what we call paraphrasing. And what that means is they put something into their own words and they write it. Okay, a quick example is there. If I was, we had a question. Let's say, what did Jim do? What did Jim do after dinner? Okay, so let's say we're reading the text and we're reading through and we're looking for dinner or after dinner, because we're using our skimming skills and going quickly, and we get down there and it says after dinner, that must be dinner for Jimmer. After dinner, Jim went to the shops. Okay, after dinner, Jim went to the shops to buy some food. Now, what some people might write their answer is, after dinner, Jim went out. Okay, now technically that is right, because Jim might have had to go out for the rest of the story, but I want to use the exact words there. So I'm going to say Jim went to the shops, okay, because that's what it says in the text. Now that was an obvious answer where you might get the marks anyway, but in some other questions, sometimes if we change it slightly, it can mean that we don't get the answer right because we've changed the words slightly. Okay. Now what this also means as well is sometimes you might be reading a piece of text that's like some sort of a fact file or something like that, and you might know a little bit about those facts. Okay, could be a fact on bikes or something like that, and you're like, oh, I know loads about bikes. Now the question asks you something that you know the answer to because you know loads about bikes, but the answer that you put down isn't in the text. And what these questions are trying to do is saying, can you find information from that text? It's not really asking you, do you know these things? It's asking you, can you get this information from the text? So you might write a brilliant answer because you know loads about bikes, but you wouldn't get the mark because you're not showing that you can find the information in the text. So that's why it's important to always use the exact words that we have in the text. Another way to help us answer our questions quickly and efficiently, so we're not going backwards and we're not looking all over, is the order of the questions. Now what I mean here, if you've got say 5 questions, what will normally happen is your questions will follow on from each other. So I might find the answer to question 1 in the first part of the writing, then the next question 2 will be a little bit after that, then question 3 will be a little bit after that. Now why that's important is because rather than having to look through the whole text again to find your thing, so going back to start and starting to skim, what you can do is think, right, well, my question 2 must be after that, so I'm now going to start reading, okay, and skimming from there on, and that'll save you a little bit of time, okay? And I've also got this one, find information, and what that also means is the same thing. If you've read the story, you should know roughly what happens at the start, what happens at the middle, what happens at the end. So if the question's asking you a certain thing that you know happened at the end of the story, start skimming at the end, don't go all the way through. If you know it's asking you something from the middle or the third paragraph or whatever it is, go to that one and start there. If you don't find the answer, obviously go back to the one before, or keep going on to different sections of the text afterwards, but we can know roughly where it is to save ourselves some time. Now this one is one I would always say with every type of reading question, every type of comprehension, would be to double check your answers. A lot of people finish with extra time when they're doing questions, or they'll finish their homework quite quickly if they're answering some questions, but it's always good to double check, because if you don't double check, you will make silly mistakes, okay? If something is really hard and you don't know the answer, that is fine, but you will always think you are a numpty if you get a question wrong but you knew the answer, but you try to go too fast, okay? So that's why it's important to be quick but be what we say efficient. So quickly do it but getting the right answers. Pointless doing it really, really quick but getting wrong answers. So double check those answers. Go back to the text. Did it say that? Yes, it did. Brilliant. I can move on. And those are some tips to help you with some retrieval questions that you might get when you are answering questions on text and doing reading comprehensions. I hope that helped you there. Until the next time, see you later. Hope you enjoyed that video, guys. As the saying goes, I think you've got to smash that like button if that helped you, and I hope it did. If there's any questions or anything else that I can help you with, you can put it in the comments below. I try and help out, or you can contact me on Mr. Biggins123 on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, and I'll try and help you if I can, okay? Obviously subscribe as well, you'll see all the videos as they come up, and they might help you with other things that you are doing with your work as well. Until next time, see you later and stay safe.